Deep in the heart of the Ozark Mountains lies Devil's Den State Park, an Arkansas treasure known for its limestone bluffs, winding hiking trails, and the kind of quiet that makes you forget the rest of the world exists. For countless families, this is a place to escape the noise of life, a place for memories. But on July 26, 2025, this sanctuary of nature became the scene of one of the most chilling double homicides in recent state history. That summer morning, Clinton and Kristen Brink, both in their early 40s, set out for a hike with their two daughters, ages 7 and 9. By all accounts, it was supposed to be an ordinary family outing, a break from the daily grind, a chance to soak in the beauty of Arkansas's wilderness. The Brinks were the kind of family friends describe as warm, protective, and inseparable. Clinton, an outdoors enthusiast, loved introducing his daughters to hiking trails. Kristen, devoted and fiercely protective, was the glue that held their family together. They'd hiked Devil's Den before, but on that July morning, they would never make it home. At around 10 a.m., the family began their hike on one of the park's more secluded trails. The girls ran ahead, laughing. Clinton and Kristen followed, enjoying the moment. But just beyond a bend, in a shaded section of the path, someone was waiting. In the chaos, Kristen did what any mother would do. She grabbed her daughters and pushed them away, telling them to run. Her bravery saved their lives, but instead of escaping herself, she turned back toward her husband, rushing into danger. Both Clinton and Kristen were fatally stabbed. Their bodies were later found just feet apart on the trail. Their daughters, terrified and sobbing, made it out of the woods and flagged down a hiker for help. It was this hiker's 911 call that alerted authorities to the unimaginable scene. News of the murders spread rapidly through Arkansas. Devil's Den, a place known for family picnics and scenic waterfalls, was suddenly swarming with investigators, crime scene units, and armed officers. The park was closed to the public, roads were blocked, and the hunt for the killer began. This is true crime drop. If you want to stay updated on the most gripping criminal cases, solved and unsolved, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Within minutes of the 911 call, Devil's Den State Park was locked down. What was once a serene hiking spot was now an active crime scene. Arkansas State Police, local sheriff's deputies, and park rangers swarmed the area. Their mission was clear: find whoever had just murdered Clinton and Kristen Brink before he vanished into the wilderness. Investigators immediately began piecing together the limited information they had. Two key witnesses, the Brinks' daughters, were in shock, but able to describe a lone male attacker. He had fled deeper into the park moments after the stabbings. The suspect was armed, dangerous, and potentially still hiding somewhere in the dense 2,500-acre expanse of Devil's Den. The terrain worked both for and against law enforcement. The thick forest canopy, rugged cliffs, and countless trails gave the suspect places to hide, but they also gave officers multiple choke points to set up search perimeters. Drones were deployed to scan from above, while K-9 units swept the ground for scent trails. By late afternoon, the Arkansas State Police issued an urgent bulletin. They were searching for 38-year-old Andrew James McGann. McGann was a drifter, with a patchy criminal history involving theft, trespassing, and weapons charges. He had no known connection to the Brinks. That fact alone sent a chilling message. This attack may have been entirely random. Tips poured in. Some claimed to have seen McGann hitchhiking on back roads. Others reported spotting a man matching his description at nearby gas stations. Each lead triggered an urgent response, but time was slipping away. The longer McGann stayed free, the greater the fear he would strike again. By nightfall, the manhunt had expanded to multiple counties. U.S. Marshals joined the operation, bringing with them specialized fugitive tracking expertise. The search was now a multi-agency effort, with checkpoints on every major road leading out of the area. Meanwhile, forensic teams remained at the crime scene. Every inch of the trail was photographed, every footprint and bloodstain documented. Investigators collected the murder weapon, a large fixed blade knife, left behind in the chaos. DNA swabs and fingerprints were rushed to the state crime lab. The break investigators needed came 36 hours later. A hunter, deep in a wooded area near the state park, stumbled upon a makeshift camp. It was littered with food wrappers, water bottles, and a worn backpack. Inside the bag, ID documents belonging to Andrew James McGann. From that moment, the hunt tightened. Officers shifted resources, surrounding the nearby ridge where the camp was found. Helicopters hovered overhead. K-9 units picked up McGann's scent again, moving quickly through rocky terrain. Then, on the morning of July 28th, the manhunt came to a dramatic end. A team of Arkansas State Police and U.S. Marshals spotted McGann attempting to cross a shallow creek. He was ordered to stop. Instead, he made a desperate dash toward the tree line. But within seconds, he was tackled and taken into custody. The double murder suspect was finally in handcuffs. The arrest brought a sense of relief to the shaken community, but it also raised new questions. Why had McGann targeted the Brinks? Was this truly random, or was there more beneath the surface? In the days ahead, prosecutors would begin building their case, but the horror of that day in Devil's Den would linger for years. In the hours after his arrest, Andrew James McGann sat in a small interrogation room at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. His clothes were soaked, his hands scraped from days on the run. Investigators wasted no time asking the question everyone wanted answered: why? To understand McGann's actions, we have to go back. Born in rural Missouri in 1987, McGann grew up in a fractured household. His father was absent. His mother struggled with addiction. By the time he was 15, he was already in juvenile detention for burglary. Teachers described him as withdrawn, with violent outbursts when provoked. Over the years, McGann drifted from town to town, never holding a steady job. He racked up arrests for petty theft, breaking and entering, and illegal possession of weapons. But what concerned law enforcement most was his increasing unpredictability. There were reports, never officially confirmed, that he had threatened hikers in other parks, brandishing knives when confronted. Despite these red flags, McGann was often released with short sentences or fines. He avoided long prison terms, either by plea deals or lack of sufficient evidence. To some investigators, he was a ticking time bomb. By the summer of 2025, McGann was reportedly living out of a tent in northwest Arkansas. Friends, or rather acquaintances, say he seemed paranoid, convinced people were out to get him. He often carried a large fixed-blade knife, claiming it was for self-defense. Psychologists who reviewed the case noted signs of untreated mental illness, possibly schizophrenia, or severe paranoia, though McGann had never undergone formal evaluation. These conditions, combined with his isolation, created a dangerous cocktail. In the weeks leading up to the murders, McGann was spotted multiple times in Devil's Den State Park. Rangers recalled him loitering near trailheads, staring at passing hikers. No one reported him at the time. After all, plenty of people wander state parks. But in hindsight, these were moments that could have been warnings. When confronted in the interrogation room, McGann gave conflicting statements. At times, he claimed the Brinks attacked him first. Other times, he admitted to being in a bad headspace and acting out of impulse. Investigators didn't buy it. The brutality of the attack told them this was no accident. Prosecutors began preparing for trial almost immediately. They charged McGann with 2 counts of first-degree murder, each carrying the possibility of life without parole. But building their case would require more than just eyewitness accounts. They needed to prove premeditation, or at least intent. Investigators believed the attack was the culmination of years of escalating violence, isolation, and untreated mental illness. To them, McGann wasn't just a dangerous man, he was a predator who had been hunting for an opportunity. The Brinks family just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. News of the murders spread through the Ozark region like wildfire. Devil's Den State Park had always been a place of peace, a refuge for hikers, families, and nature lovers. But now, it was the site of a horror that would haunt the community for years to come. The victims, Thomas and Rebecca Brink, were not locals, but their story touched everyone. The couple had been married for 22 years, avid hikers who loved to explore state parks across the country. They were known for their kindness. Friends described them as the type of people who would stop to help a stranger change a tire. The arrest of Andrew James McGann brought a name and a face to the nightmare that had shaken Devil's Den. But for prosecutors, the real challenge was just beginning. Securing a conviction in a double homicide case isn't just about pointing to the suspect, it's about proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. McGann's public defender quickly filed a not guilty plea, setting the stage for what could become one of the most closely watched trials in Arkansas history. The defense hinted at challenging the credibility of the prosecution's witnesses and even suggested that McGann's presence at the park on the day of the murders might have been coincidental. For investigators, the key evidence included surveillance footage from a gas station near the park, GPS data from McGann's phone, and, most importantly, DNA samples allegedly linking him to the crime scene. Prosecutors were confident, but the defense was already preparing to challenge every single piece of that evidence. Meanwhile, the community that had once been united in grief now braced for the emotional strain of the trial. The Brinks family would have to sit through months of testimony, reliving every detail of the murders in an open courtroom with cameras recording every tear. Prosecutors estimated the trial could last up to 8 weeks, with jury selection alone taking 2. The courthouse was expected to see long lines of spectators, reporters, and even true crime enthusiasts hoping to witness the proceedings in person. The case had now taken on a life of its own. National networks debated everything from McGann's possible motives to whether parks across the country should adopt new safety protocols. Some commentators speculated that McGann might be linked to other unsolved cases, but law enforcement has neither confirmed nor denied those theories. In the middle of it all, one fact remained clear. The Brinks were gone, and nothing would bring them back. But their loved ones were determined to see justice done, no matter how long it took. Outside the courtroom, a small group of supporters gathered for each hearing, holding signs that read, "Justice for Thomas and Rebecca." Some came from out of state, having never met the couple, but feeling drawn to the tragedy through media coverage. Legal experts warned that the trial would likely hinge on whether the jury believed McGann acted with intent, or whether the defense could introduce enough doubt to make them hesitate. In high-profile cases like this, juror psychology can be as unpredictable as the evidence itself. If convicted, McGann could face life in prison without the possibility of parole. In Arkansas, prosecutors can also pursue the death penalty in cases involving multiple victims. The Brinks family has remained silent on whether they support that sentence, focusing instead on the certainty of a guilty verdict. We'll continue to follow this story as the trial unfolds. If you want to stay updated on the Andrew James McGann case, make sure to subscribe to True Crime Drop and turn on notifications. Every case has more to tell, and we'll be here to uncover it.